Far beyond Earth, in the dark space between stars, a fleet gathered. It was the largest military force the galaxy had seen in thousands of years. 700 warships floated in perfect formation, stretching across space like a moving wall of steel. Their hulls were black and sharp, covered in glowing symbols of power. Engines burned with cold blue fire. Each ship was built for war, conquest, and fear. At the center of the fleet was the command vessel of the KRYL Dominion. Inside, the air was calm. Alien commanders stood around a massive holographic table. Stars and planets spun slowly in the blue light. At the center of the display was a small, ordinary world. Earth, to the KRYL Dominion. Earth was nothing special. The humans were a young species, loud, divided, emotional. Their record showed wars, borders, and endless arguments. They fought each other more than anyone else. The Dominion believed this made humans weak. A tall KRYL commander spoke, his voice cold and confident. 9,700 ships, he said, against one planet. Soft laughter echoed around the chamber. Another commander leaned forward. We could send a tenth of this force and still win. But numbers send a message, the first replied. The galaxy must see what happens to those who refuse us. The hologram changed. Human cities appeared. Oceans, satellites, a thin layer of defenses around the planet. Primitive, fragile. The order was given. The fleet moved. Space twisted as thousands of ships entered faster than light travel at once. The stars stretched into long lines of light. The invasion had begun. On Earth, it was night in most places. People slept. Cities glowed softly. The planet turned in quiet peace. Then the alarm started. In deep underground bunkers, ancient systems came alive. Screens flickered. Long-in-use sensors began to scream warnings. Human scientists stared in disbelief. Thousands of signals appeared on their displays. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. One engineer whispered, "That's not possible." Military leaders were called. Governments connected. Old emergency channels opened for the first time in generations. No one shouted. No one panicked. They simply stared at the numbers. 9,700 incoming objects. All massive, all armed. Someone asked a question no one wanted to answer. Is this an invasion? No one replied, because they already knew. In orbit, human satellites detected the first distortion in space. Then the sky changed. Across the planet, people looked up and froze. Stars vanished. The night sky darkened as enormous shapes appeared above the atmosphere. Ship after ship after ship. They blocked the stars like clouds made of metal. Children cried. Adults stood silent. Cameras pointed upward everywhere. Never in human history had something like this been seen. On the alien command ship, the KRYL watched Earth through massive viewports. They expected panic. They expected missiles. Loud signals. Confused movements. They saw none of it. Earth was quiet. No large fleets rose to meet them. No desperate attacks. No surrender signals. Just silence. A junior officer frowned. They are doing nothing. The commander narrowed his eyes. They are afraid. But minutes passed. Still nothing. The fleet moved closer. Human satellites adjusted their positions. Slowly. Calmly. Too calmly. Deep beneath Earth's surface, doors that had not opened in centuries unlocked. Old bunkers powered up. Hidden facilities came online. Machines hummed as dust fell from their frames. Human leaders stood in a secure chamber, watching the same stars vanish above them. One of them spoke quietly. They finally came. Another nodded, earlier than expected. No one asked who they were. Humanity had always believed this day would come. The only question had been when. Orders were given. Short, simple. Activate Phase 1. Across the planet, systems woke up. Not flashy weapons. Not giant fleets. Just preparation. Back in orbit, the KRYL fleet took full position around Earth. 9,700 ships formed a perfect ring. The planet was trapped. The alien commander raised a clawed hand. Send a surrender demand. A signal was transmitted in every known language. Clear, simple. Asterisk, lay down your weapons. Accept the minion rule. Your species will be spared. Asterisk. The fleet waited. Seconds passed. Then minutes. No response. The commander's confidence faltered just a little. Send again. Still nothing. Human channels stayed silent. No messages. No please. No threats. Just silence. One alien officer shifted uneasily. Why did they not answer? The commander said nothing. He was staring at the planet, at the way Earth's lights dimmed slightly, at the way some satellites moved into strange positions, at the feeling, deep and uncomfortable, that something was wrong. Earth was not afraid. Earth was waiting. And the KRYL Dominion had no idea why. The KRYL Dominion did not like silence. To them, silence meant weakness or fear, and fear always broke first. The alien commander stood tall on the command deck, staring at Earth. The planet still did not respond. No surrender. No message. No movement that looked like panic. He made his decision. Begin the demonstration, he said. Across the fleet, orders spread instantly. Weapons powered up. Thousands of alien ships adjusted position. Their cannons glowed with blue and violet energy. The Dominion did not plan to destroy Earth. Not yet. This was a warning. The first shots were fired toward the moon. Beams of energy struck its surface, carving long glowing scars across the gray dust. Massive explosions bloomed silently in space. Chunks of rock drifted away, glowing hot. The Dominion expected Earth to react now. They expected screams. Missile. Chaos. Earth stayed silent. The alien commander frowned. Target orbital defenses, he ordered. Alien fire swept through space. Human satellites were struck and destroyed. Some exploded. Others broke apart slowly, drifting like dead machines. From the Dominion's view, Earth looked helpless. But something felt wrong. Human satellites did not flee. They did not scatter in panic. Some of them moved toward the alien fleet. On Earth, the impacts were felt. Seismic sensors detected the moon strikes. People watched live feeds as parts of the moon burned. Fear spread through cities. But there was no screaming in command rooms. Human officers watched calmly. One of them spoke softly. They fired first. Another replied, "Good. That means the rules are gone." Deep systems finished warming up. Ancient codes unlocked. Phase 1 ended. Phase 2 began. In orbit, an alien cruiser suddenly vanished from sensors. Not exploded. Not damaged. Gone. An officer blinked. Command, Ship K, 441 just disappeared. Sensor error. Another replied. Then a second ship vanished. Then a third. The commander's eyes narrowed. Scan again. Full spectrum. Before the order could finish, something struck the fleet. A burst of energy erupted from nowhere, slicing clean through an alien destroyer. Its shields failed instantly. The ship split in half. Alarm screamed. "What was that weapon?" An officer shouted. "No known signature," another replied. Human weapons did not glow. They did not announce themselves. They simply worked. The Dominion fleet opened fire in all directions. Beams, missiles, plasma storms filled space. And then the asteroids moved. Large rocks that had floated quietly near Earth for centuries suddenly changed course. Engines ignited on their surfaces. Hidden thrusters pushed them forward. The asteroids slammed into alien ships at impossible angles. One cruiser was crushed instantly. Another spun out of control, crashing into its own allies. Confusion spread. How did they weaponize asteroids so fast? An officer demanded. The commander felt something cold twist in his chest. Humans did not weaponize them now. They had done it long ago. Human ships began to appear, not in neat formations, not shining and perfect. They rose from Earth's oceans, breaking through waves. Others launched from mountains, deserts, and hidden bases. Some ships looked old. Some looked new. Some barely matched each other. But they moved with purpose. Human fleets did not charge. They circled. They tested. They learned. Small human craft darted through the alien fleet, striking weak points and vanishing. They sacrificed ships if needed, but every loss taught them something. The Dominion had never seen this kind of warfare. Most species fought to win quickly. Humans fought to adapt. An alien battleship fired a powerful beam at a human cruiser. The beam missed. The human ship changed its movement pattern instantly. The second beam missed again. By the third shot, the human ship dodged before the weapon even fired. The alien gunner stared in shock. "They're predicting us." "No," the commander whispered. "They're learning." Across the battlefield, Dominion ships began to fall. Not all at once. Slowly, one by one. Human weapons changed frequency mid-battle. Shields that worked once failed the next time. Alien tactics became useless within minutes. The Dominion had trained for centuries. Humans adapted in seconds. Back on Earth, civilian networks went dark. Power grids shifted into emergency mode. People waited. They did not know what was happening in space, but they felt it. Human history had taught them one thing. When Earth went quiet, it was never surrender. It was preparation. On the alien command ship, fear finally appeared. Not panic. Fear. Losses at 4% and rising. An officer reported. "Impossible," another said. "We outnumber them thousands to one." "And yet," the commander replied, "we are bleeding." He watched the hologram. Human ships were not defending Earth alone. They were shaping the battlefield, pulling Dominion forces into traps, breaking formations, turning numbers into chaos. The commander clenched his claws. "Full assault," he ordered. "Crush them." The fleet surged forward, and that was a mistake, because Earth was no longer reacting. Earth was leading, and the real human response had not even begun yet. The battle did not look like a battle anymore. From the KRYL Dominion's command ship, space looked broken. Formations that had once been perfect were now scattered. Alien warships drifted apart, some spinning slowly, others burning silently. Communication lines filled with overlapping voices, warnings, and half-finished orders. The Dominion commander watched the chaos grow. This was not how wars were supposed to go. They had brought 700 ships. Earth had brought confusion. "Why are they not defending their planet directly?" An officer demanded. Another replied, "They keep pulling us away from it." The commander's eyes narrowed. Earth was not hiding. Earth was controlling distance. Human ships moved differently. They did not rush forward in pride. They did not hold fixed positions. They moved like water. When alien ships advanced, humans fell back. When the Dominion regrouped, humans struck the sides. Small groups attacked, vanished, then returned somewhere else entirely. Every human ship that survived came back smarter. Alien weapons that worked once never worked twice. Shield frequencies were changed. Attack patterns were rewritten mid-fight. Human pilots shared data instantly across the battlefield. The Dominion realized something terrible. Humans were not following a plan. They were building one during the battle. A KRYL cruiser locked onto a human vessel and fired a heavy plasma beam. The shot hit. The human ship lost power and drifted. The alien crew cheered. Then the human ship exploded, but not like expected. The explosion sent out a cloud of metal fragments, each moving at extreme speed. The fragments punched through the cruiser's hull, shredding internal systems. The alien ship went dark. "What kind of tactic is that?" An officer shouted. The commander answered quietly. "A last lesson." Humans did not waste a feat. They turned it into a weapon. Across the battlefield, something else began to happen. Human civilian vessels appeared. Cargo ships, mining rigs, old transport craft. They should not have been there. "These ships are unarmed," an officer said. "No," the commander replied. "They are not military." That made it worse. The civilian ships moved directly into combat zones. They released drones, debris, and strange devices that flooded space with false signals. Alien sensors became blind. Targeting systems failed. Dominion ships began firing at ghosts. The humans had turned civilian tools into war tools. Not by design, by habit. On Earth, factories that once made machines for peace changed purpose overnight. Workers followed old emergency plans passed down for generations. Humans had never truly stopped preparing. They just hoped they would never need it. A human officer watched battle data stream across a screen. "They're slowing," someone said. "Yes," the officer replied. "They don't know how to fight like this." The officer leaned forward. "Send the signal." In space, human ships suddenly changed behavior. They stopped retreating. They stopped circling. They advanced. Alien commanders felt a wave of relief. Finally, one said, "They come to face us." The Dominion fleet regrouped, firing everything they had, and then the humans broke apart again. But this time it was deliberate. Human ships spread wide, forcing the Dominion to chase. Alien vessels followed, eager to finish the fight. That was when the trap closed. Space itself seemed to bend. Gravity surged. Not enough to crush ships, enough to pull them off course. Alien vessels collided. Others drifted helplessly as their engines fought invisible forces. "What is happening?" an officer shouted. The commander stared at the readings. Artificial gravity fields. Placed years ago. Hidden. Waiting. Earth had prepared the battlefield before the enemy even arrived. Alien losses passed 10%, then 15%, then 20%. The Dominion had never lost this many ships in a single battle. Ever. The commander felt something he had never felt before. Doubt. "Request reinforcements," an officer said. The commander shook his head slowly. "There are none close enough." The truth settled in. They were alone. Human boarding ships launched. Small, ugly, direct. They slammed into alien hulls and cut their way inside. Humans fought face to face. They did not rely only on machines. They used training, teamwork, and stubborn refusal to die. Captured alien crews were stunned. Humans did not celebrate kills. They moved forward, always forward. The Dominion command ship was struck, not by a massive weapon, by dozens of small attacks, hitting the same point again and again. Shields failed. Hull plates broke. Alarms filled the bridge. "Damage control," someone screamed. The commander stood still. He finally understood. Humans did not seek glory. They did not need to prove strength. They fought because they refused to lose. And that made them unstoppable. The commander looked at Earth one last time. The planet was scarred, but it stood, still silent, still calm, still watching. "This is not a victory battle," the commander said quietly. "It is a lesson." The bridge shook again. And for the first time since the invasion began, the KRYLL Dominion wondered if any of them would make it home. The KRYLL Dominion command ship shook again. Lights flickered across the bridge. Several displays went dark. Smoke rose from damaged panels, filling the air with a sharp metallic smell. For the first time, the Dominion commander felt true fear. Not fear of death. Fear of not understanding the enemy. "Report," he demanded. An officer answered, voice shaking. "Multiple hull breaches. Shields at 30%. We are surrounded by human vessels." The commander looked at the main display. Human ships were everywhere now. Not rushing. Not panicking. They moved slowly, carefully, like hunters closing in. "They should be defending Earth," the commander said quietly. "They are," another officer replied, "by ending us." Across the battlefield, the Dominion fleet was breaking apart. Large alien warships tried to regroup, but smaller human craft kept cutting between them, forcing them out of position. Human weapons targeted engines, sensors, and communication arrays. They were not trying to destroy everything. They were taking control. Several alien ships went silent at once. Boarding alarms followed. Human soldiers entered alien vessels through breaches cut with brutal precision. They moved in small teams, silent, focused, and fast. The KRYLL had never trained for this kind of combat. They relied on technology. Humans relied on each other. Inside one captured alien ship, a KRYLL officer was dragged to the floor, stunned but alive. He looked up at the human soldier standing over him. The human did not shout, did not insult him. He simply said, "Stay down. This ends when you stop fighting." The KRYLL officer felt confusion. This was not hatred. This was control. On Earth, human leaders watched the battle unfold. One of them spoke. "They're pushing harder now." Another replied, "Because they're scared." A third leader nodded. "Good. That means phase 3. No cheers followed, only quiet focus. In space, the Dominion commander realized something too late. The human ships were no longer reacting. They were following a plan. One by one, alien fleets were being pulled into a wide arc around Earth. Human ships guided them carefully, striking when needed, retreating when useful. The commander studied the pattern. His eyes widened. "They're encircling us," he whispered. An officer responded, "We still outnumber them." The commander shook his head. "They are not counting ships," he said. "They are counting space." Suddenly, deep space trembled. Invisible forces activated across a massive area. Gravity fields surged. Not violent. Precise. Alien ships felt their movement slow. Engines strained. Navigation systems failed. Entire fleets drifted into unstable zones. "What is this?" an officer cried. The commander stared at the readings. "Artificial gravity wells," he said. "Preposition? But that would take centuries to set up," the officer replied. "Yes," the commander said softly. "And humans have been here a long time." The truth hit him like a blade. Earth was not reacting to the invasion. Earth had been waiting for it. Human ships advanced again. This time, there was no retreat. Alien warships collided as gravity pulled them together. Some fired wildly, hitting allies. Others shut down completely to avoid tearing themselves apart. Human vessels moved through the chaos untouched. They knew where the gravity would pull. They had memorized it. The Dominion command ship was dragged slightly off course. Alarm screamed. "We are being pulled," an officer shouted. "Counterthrust," another yelled. Engines roared, but it was useless. The ship drifted into a narrow corridor of controlled space. Human ships surrounded it, weapons locked, but they did not fire. Instead, a signal came through. "Clear. Human, this is Earth Defense Command. Power down your weapons." The bridge went silent. The Dominion commander stared at the message. They were not demanding surrender. They were expecting it. "Do not answer," an officer said quickly, but before the commander could respond, human boarding craft slammed into the hull. Cutting lasers burned through metal. Human soldiers poured inside. The fight inside the command ship was short. Human teams moved fast and clean. They avoided unnecessary damage. They disabled systems instead of destroying them. Within minutes, the bridge doors were breached. Armed humans entered. Their weapons were raised. But no one fired. The commander stood tall. He expected death. Instead, a human officer stepped forward. "You are no longer in command," the human said calmly. The KRYLL commander looked around. His bridge was filled with humans. Alive, organized, in control. "You could kill us," the commander said. The human officer nodded. "Yes." "Then why don't you?" The human paused. "Because this war is already decided." Outside, the battle slowed. Alien resistance collapsed as word spread. The Dominion command ship had fallen. Human ships stopped advancing. They simply held position, waiting. Across space, hundreds of alien ships powered down. Others tried to flee, but the gravity fields tightened. There was only one way out, a narrow corridor, left open on purpose. The KRYLL commander was escorted to a secure chamber. He felt smaller with every step, not because of the humans' weapons, but because of their calm. He finally understood the truth. Humans were not strong because of technology. They were strong because they planned for the worst and hoped for the best. And now, the worst had come. Far above Earth, the battlefield fell quiet. Thousands of wrecks drifted in silence. Human ships held their positions. The corridor out of the trap remained open. The message was clear. Run, and let the galaxy see what happens when you try to conquer Earth. Silence spread across space. Not the calm silence from before, but a heavy one, filled with fear. Thousands of KRYL Dominion warships floated damaged, powerless, or drifting without control. Fires burned inside broken hulls. Escape pods scattered like dust. Long-range sensors showed a battlefield that no longer belonged to the Dominion. It belonged to Earth. On the human command channels, there was no celebration, only short reports. Sector 7 secured. Boarding complete. Enemy engines disabled. Humans spoke as if this was a routine operation. For the KRYL, it was the end of an era. On the captured command ship, the KRYL commander stood in silence inside a containment room. He could still feel the ship moving slowly, guided by human control. He remembered the confidence he had felt only hours earlier. 9,700 ships. A guaranteed victory. Now most of those ships were gone. Not destroyed in one great explosion, but broken apart piece by piece. By patience. By planning. By a species that refused to panic. Outside, panic finally took hold of the Dominion fleet. Orders came too late. Fall back. Retreat. Break free. But retreat was impossible. Human gravity fields tightened again, shifting slowly, forcing alien ships into narrow paths. Navigation systems failed. Old star maps became useless. Human ships did not chase blindly. They guided. They herded. They pushed alien vessels exactly where they wanted them, toward wreckage, toward debris, toward each other. One KRYL cruiser attempted a desperate jump to faster than light. Its engines overloaded. The ship tore itself apart, scattering debris across space. Nearby alien crews watched in horror. Another ship tried to force its way through the gravity corridor. Human ships closed in, not firing, just blocking angles. The alien ship slowed, trapped. Its captain made a choice. They powered down. Surrender spread. On Earth, leaders watched the numbers fall. Enemy ships active. 1, 200, 800, 300. One officer spoke softly. They're breaking. Another replied, open the corridor. The corridor widened slightly. Just enough. In space, a small group of alien ships noticed a change. A clear path appeared. Unstable. Dangerous. But open. Escape route detected. One alien officer shouted. The message spread like fire. Ships rushed toward it. Too many. Too fast. Human ships did not stop them. They waited. The first alien ship entered the corridor and barely survived. Its shields burned out. Hull plates tore loose. But it made it through. Others followed. The corridor twisted violently. Gravity pulled ships off course. Some slammed into the corridor walls of compressed space and vanished. Others collided with each other. Human ships still did not fire. They let physics decide. One by one, alien ships were destroyed by their own panic. Only a few made it through. 17 damaged, burning, barely functional warships escaped the gravity trap and jumped into faster than light. The rest never left. The battlefield went still. Human ships powered down weapons. Rescue operations began, not for the enemy, but for their own damaged crews. Captured alien ships were secured. Prisoners were treated. Medical aid was given. Even to the KRYL, this confused the surviving alien officers. You spare us, one asked. A human medic replied simply, the fight's over. The KRYL commander watched everything from containment. He had expected hatred. He saw none. He had expected revenge. He saw restraint. That frightened him more than destruction ever could. Far across the galaxy, the 17 surviving ships emerged from faster-than-light travel. They limped into known space. Damaged, silent, broken. Other alien species detected them immediately. Emergency signals flooded in. What happened? Where's the fleet? Did Earth fall? The KRYL survivors did not answer at first. They needed time. Time to understand what they had lived through. Finally, a single message was sent. Not propaganda. Not pride. Just truth. Do not go to Earth. Do not threaten humanity. We sent 9,700 warships. Only 17 returned. The message spread faster than fear. Galactic councils froze. Military leaders canceled plans. Exploration routes were quietly changed. Earth's classification was updated across thousands of systems, from low threat to do not engage. Back near Earth, human ships began cleanup operations. Wreckage was collected. Dangerous debris was destroyed. The battlefield was erased. Earth returned to silence. Satellites were repaired. Lights came back on. The planet breathed again. In the human command chamber, one leader finally spoke. Will they come back? Another leader answered, not soon. And if they do? The first leader looked at Earth on the screen, then at the stars beyond it. Then we'll be ready, like we always are. The KRYLO commander lowered his head. The truth was clear now. Humanity was not dangerous because it wanted war. Humanity was dangerous because it survived it and taught the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The 17 ships did not arrive as heroes. They arrived broken. Across KRYL Dominion space, sensors detected their sudden appearance. Emergency beacons activated automatically. Repair crews rushed to docks. Military officials gathered, expecting victory reports. But when the ships were seen clearly, silence spread. Hull scars burned black across once proud warships. Entire sections were missing. Engines flickered like dying stars. Some ships barely held together. And then came the numbers. Only 17 out of 9,700. Inside the Dominion's highest council chamber, leaders gathered in disbelief. Massive holograms showed the survivors. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, a council elder asked a question everyone feared. Where's the rest of the fleet? A surviving captain stepped forward. His posture was weak. His eyes held something new. Fear. They are gone, he said. Destroyed. Captured. Lost. How? Another leader demanded. Earth is one planet. The captain swallowed. That is a mistake we made, he replied. Earth is not just a planet. The survivors told their story. They spoke of silence, of patience, of traps placed long before the invasion began. They spoke of humans who adapted faster than machines, of civilians who became warriors without being soldiers, of enemies who did not rush, but waited. And finally, they spoke of the corridor, the escape path, left open on purpose. So they let you escape? One council member asked. The captain nodded slowly. Yes, he said, so we could warn you. The KRYL Dominion collapsed inward. Military plans were canceled. Border expansion stopped overnight. Old pride turned into quiet fear. And the warning did not stay within KRYL space. The story spread, from trade routes to neutral zones, from smugglers to diplomats, from whispers to official reports. Everywhere, the same words followed. Only 17 returned. In distant systems, alien councils gathered. Earth's records were reviewed again. Human history shocked them. Wars that should have destroyed them, but did not. Technology built from failure, not perfection. A species that learned from pain instead of running from it. One counselor summarized it best. Humans are not the strongest. They are not the smartest. But they do not quit. Earth's status changed everywhere. Not marked as enemy. Not marked as ally. Marked as untouchable. Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Cities were repaired. Satellites replaced. Skies cleared. Most humans never knew how close extinction had come. They went back to work. Back to school. Back to arguing and dreaming. Only a few knew the full truth. Deep underground, human leaders met one last time. The captured KRYL commander was brought before them. He stood quietly, no longer proud. You could destroy us, he said. Why didn't you? A human leader answered calmly. Because fear spreads faster than destruction. The commander looked up. You let us escape. Yes, the human replied. So the galaxy would learn without us having to teach it again. A single message was prepared. It was not sent with force. It was broadcast openly, across known space. It was simple, clear. Human, we are not conquerors. We are not invaders. We protect our home. We will not chase you. But if you come again, we will not stop at 17. The message echoed across the stars. No threats followed. No fleets moved. The galaxy listened and believed. Years passed. Trade routes avoided Earth space, not from fear but respect. Explorers kept their distance. Military maps showed a wide empty circle around one system. Earth remained quiet, but ready. The KRYLO commander, now a prisoner by choice, watched Earth from orbit years later. He had been allowed to live, to observe. "What will you do?" he asked a human officer. "When the galaxy forgets?" The officer smiled faintly. "They won't," he said. "That's the thing about survival stories. They travel far." Above Earth, stars shone again. Clear, unblocked. Human satellites drifted peacefully. But hidden beneath the calm were systems still active, traps still waiting, plans still ready. Humanity returned to being what it always was. Messy, noisy, hopeful, and quietly unstoppable. Far away, in the deepest archives of the galaxy, the invasion was recorded under a new title. The day humanity was tested. And beneath it, a final note. They sent 9,700 warships to Earth. Only 17 escaped alive. And no one ever tried again.